friends, I'm Arpit and I'm here with today's analysis. Today is 10th of June and we're going to deal with two very important topics which are in news. First is the foreign leaders in the swearing in ceremony of the Indian ministers and the Prime Minister. Leaders from Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Seychelles, and Mauritius were present in the Prime Minister's swearing in ceremony. This clearly signifies that India wants to focus on its near neighborhood. One of the criticisms of India's foreign policy, which came, was that India's excessive focus on the Indo Pacific region and negligence on the nearby countries, which India believes to rectify now. This was clearly testified and stated in the invitations which were sent out to the leaders of the nearby countries in the Indian Ocean region. So, this in itself is a testament to the fact that this Indian Ocean region is very much important to us. Next is the oath taking ceremony was conducted. 72 ministers, including the Minister of States, which we call them Council of Ministers, have been inducted this time. And this oath taking ceremony is very much, I would say, ceremonious or very much symbolic for upholding the constitution of the country, because the oath of office and the oath of secrecy both are mentioned in the schedule 3rd of the constitution. The president administers the oath to the prime minister as well as to the council of ministers, and this oath taking ceremony officially makes them the prime ministers and the ministers. So we can officially say that Narendra Modi is the prime minister of India now. So let's get started and let's see what is there in these topics today. The foreign leaders in the swearing in ceremony. So there were leaders from 7 countries in the swearing in ceremony of India. Notably, all these 7 countries in recent years have seen growing ties with China, India's closest geopolitical rival. So, this kind of, I would say, zero sum game is very much evident in the South Asian region as well as in the Indian Ocean region now. Zero sum game between India and China. India's influence increases, China's decreases. China's influence increases, India's decreases. So, there's a race between India and China in this region. Whose influence will be more? And these two countries do whatever possible for that. The first is Bangladesh. Bangladesh as a country with which we have had historical ties. We were very much instrumental in Bangladesh's liberation war against Pakistan in 1971. In fact, we can take the credit for that. That 13-day war happened. Bangladesh became as an independent country. Earlier, it was East Pakistan. Since then, we've had good relations with Bangladesh, but yes, we've had our fair, share of challenges as well with Bangladesh. Like, for example, water sharing and all is a challenge. So let's see the details about Bangladesh. Export import $11,061 and imports is $1,845 million. So $11 billion export, import $1.8 billion. So somewhere the trade is between 13-14 billion dollars between India and Bangladesh. They have deep historical ties because we were played a very crucial role in Bangladesh liberation. Today they share a robust trade relationship with amounted to $12,906 million in the 2023-24 financial year. The country has consistently been among the top 5 to 10 export destinations for India, and it is the highest export destination for India in South Asia. So South Asia comprises of Afghanistan, Pakistan, Maldives, India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, and Bangladesh. So, among these 7 countries out of 8 countries in South Asia, India has the highest amount of exports to Bangladesh. Culturally, too, Bangladesh and India share close bonds with frequent cultural exchanges and educational collaborations taking place. So, Islam is a uniting factor, then Bangla is a uniting factor culturally. So, educationally, also, we have good ties. Bangladesh, specifically Sheikh Hasina's dispensation, has been crucial for India's national security because she has been very tough on the anti-India elements which have taken refuge in Bangladesh since long. These elements are, very much part of the insurgency in Northeast. So she has been very hard on them, and that has been in India's favor. Currently, India and Bangladesh are still working towards improving connectivity and a comprehensive water sharing agreement. So this has to be settled because this is one such, I would say, challenge between India and Bangladesh currently. Next is Sri Lanka. The President Ranil Wickremesinghe was here. Sri Lanka also in 2022, where there were crises, 2021-22, we were standing shoulder to shoulder with Sri Lanka. We in fact helped them. There was this 4 point, I would say, or 4 pillar initiative undertaken by India. Overall, India has invested more than $4 billion in Sri Lanka since that, in which we are helping to revive Sri Lanka's economy by strengthening their capacity. So Sri Lanka also knows that India is a friend in need, or India is a friend indeed, because India was a friend in need. So export import roughly $5.5 billion, total trade export 4118 million, import 1424 million. Ties between people of India and Sri Lanka can be traced back to ancient times. Ramayana, basically, we if we want, we can connect that as well. Then 2023-24, their bilateral trade was 5,542 million, means $5.5 billion. During civil war in Sri Lanka, India sent in a peacekeeping force, which was called as the Indian Peacekeeping Force, but unfortunately, that was unsuccessful because it had to peacefully implement the 13th Amendment Act, which Sri Lankan government undertook, which gave autonomous powers to the regional players, and it had to unarm the Tamil militants. It is believed that Indian peacekeeping force was covertly and overtly involved in violence with those Tamil militants in Sri Lanka. 1987, this force was sent. 1989, it was recalled back. The Indian peacekeeping force. The operation was named as Operation Pavan, which we can conclude that was a failed operation. Both India and Sri Lanka share deep religious and cultural ties. See, the majority community in Sri Lanka, the Sinhalese, they are Buddhists. The Tamils, they are having affiliations to, I would say, the Indian Tamils. Many of them are Hindus. Many of them are Christians as well. So we have deep cultural ties with them. Future discussions between the two countries are expected to focus on enhancing maritime security cooperation, settle maritime disputes, and strengthen economic cooperation, among which Kachatibu Island keeps on popping up again and again. So there are these kind of disputes. Next is Nepal Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal alias Prachanda. So he is the leader of Communist Party of Nepal Maoist. He was one of the important leaders of the Maoist movement in Nepal, which started in 1996, continued till 2006. And India in 2006 intervened and struck a peace deal between the Maoists and the other party, that is the government and the king. Their demand at that time was to end monarchy, which was ended in Nepal in 2008. So this guy, Prachanda, enjoys a good goodwill with India. But his coalition partner presently is KP Sharma Oli, which is from Communist Party of Nepal, Unified Marxist-Leninist, a pro-China party, that is. This is also a Communist Party leader, but yes, he enjoys good relations with India. Now, export import 7,441 million and import is 830 million, which makes it roughly around 7.8, $7.9 billion trade. And you can see the exports of India. Now, India and Nepal share an open border relationship, means no travel documents are required because there is historical and cultural ties. We share a roti beti ka rishta with Nepal. Roti means economic ties, beti means marital ties. So, open border is instrumental. In 2023-24, bilateral trade $7,871 million already discussed, dominated by Indian exports of petroleum products and machinery to Nepal. The two countries also share deep cultural and religious ties with a thriving tourism industry, particularly in Nepal, especially religious tourism because Pashupatinath temple and all is there in Nepal. Now, between the two countries, these links are very much eminent. We have also established three sister city agreements with Nepal. Sister city agreements. First is Lumbini and Bodh Gaya, birthplace of Lord Buddha, place where he got indicted. So Buddhism is also a connecting link. Then Janakpur and Ayodhya. Second, Janakpur, Sita Ji's birthplace, and Ayodhya, where Sita Ji was married to. And the third is Kathmandu and Varanasi, Pashupatinath temple in Kathmandu, Kashi Vishwanath temple in Varanasi. So these are also there. Energy and water sharing disputes have been the in the past been a sticking point, and this is there. Another sticking point nowadays is a territorial conflict with Nepal, the Lipyadura, Kalapani, and that region in Uttarakhand, which Nepal claims. Next is Maldives. The president Mohammad Muizzu, who was here for the swearing-in ceremony. Mohammad Muizzu is basically considered to be anti-India because he was very much instrumental in leading the India Out campaign in the last year's elections in Maldives, and on that pretext, his party won. He became the president of Maldives. He's known to have pro China leanings, but this invitation and the response to this invitation by coming here for the swearing in ceremony can actually thaw the ice between India and Maldives and strengthen relations from here on. Because Maldives also knows that the geographical proximity of India cannot be matched by China. Maldives has been dependent upon India. Maldives have been a good friend of India since the past, and basically, maybe this is going to be established again. Let's be hopeful. So export import $892 million, $87 million is import. So not crossing $1 billion also the trade with Maldives. India helped prevent a coup in Maldives in 1988. This was called as Operation Cactus, where a Maldivian businessman, Mr. Abdul Lutfi, wanted to overthrow the Maldivian president, Mr. Mamoon Abdul Gayoom, and for that he took the help of Sri Lankan mercenaries. But Maldives approached United States of America, United Kingdom, Pakistan before approaching us. All of them denied, but India did not. India dispatched paratroopers and military personnel. They successfully, you know, defeated the coup attempt. The Indian armed forces continued to have a modest presence in the archipelago until Moizu came into power and this India Out campaign was there. Relationships have since soured, but Moizu's presence in New Delhi indicates a possible thaw, means we can be hopeful. In 2023-24, trade between the two countries, $979 million, not even crossing $1 billion. Many students from Maldives come to India for further studies. Apart from improving strain ties, upcoming discussions will likely be centered around issues such as climate change, because this is a small island country and has that, I would say, threat of submergence as well. So, all these are there, so these will be discussed. Next is Seychelles Vice President Ahmad Afif. So he was here. Export import is also not crossing $100 million. It is only around $85 million. India and Seychelles are in a strategic relationship because Seychelles is located very strategically. Indian naval base is also there in Seychelles. It is located north of Madagascar. Seychelles is among the most strategically important archipelagos in the Indian Ocean. Trade between the two countries, $85 million to 2023-24. Both nations have in the past engaged in joint heritage conservation projects over there in Seychelles. And future dialogues will aim to bolster environmental protection agreements, crucial for addressing climate change, whose impacts will be disastrous for the island country. So, all these things are there. Next is Bhutan. King Jigme Kheser Namgyel Wangchuk, a very good friend, can be considered as an all-weather friend of India. Import export $964 million. Import $339 million, which is crossing $1 billion. It is somewhere around $1.3 billion. And India is a key player in Bhutan's hydroelectric power sector. Cultural ties. Buddhism is the connecting link between India and Bhutan. So this is there. Educational exchanges. Last year he came on an 8-day visit to India, the king, and he asked for more scholarships that India gives to the Bhutan students. So he demanded more scholarships, especially in the MBBS courses in India. Future discussions will likely focus on expanding economic cooperation through new trade agreements as well as connectivity projects. And last is Mauritius President Prithvi Raj Singh Rupun. So, export import with Mauritius is $778 million is export, $74 million is import. Mauritius is one of the leading destinations from where FDI comes into India because it is a tax haven country. India and Mauritius enjoy close relations underpinned by strong cultural and economic ties. Bilateral trade in 2023-24, $852 million. Culturally, the countries are connected by significant Indian diaspora in Mauritius. So, too much it is. And you could see the leadership also Indian, the Prime Minister also Indian origin. So, it is like this. Future talks focus on enhancing strategic partnership in sectors like digital technology and blue economy. Blue economy is any economic activity happening with respect to the oceans or the seas. It can be tourism, it can be mining, it can be anything. Now, these leaders were here for the oath taking ceremony. So we should know about the oath also, that what is the oath, how, what is the significance of this oath taking ceremony? Is it the ministers and the prime minister only that take the oaths in India? No, the presidents also take it. The Chief Justice of India and the judges of Supreme Court and High Court also take it. The Chief Minister and the ministers in the states, they also take it. So there are certain dignitaries who take oath, and the content of this oath, what do they speak while taking the oath? Like, मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी ईश्वर को साक्षी मानते हुए, like this content of the oath is there in schedule 3 of the constitution. The swearing in ceremony, it is the formal taking of office, because after this ceremony only it is considered that you know he is the prime minister of India, or he is the minister of that particular ministry, and all, like this. At different levels of government, the oath is administered by different people. For CMs and ministers at the state level, the governor administers the oath. For the prime minister and the union cabinet, president administers the oath. The oath of office to president is administered by CJI. So there are two types of oath: oath of office and oath of secrecy. Both are mentioned in Schedule 3. Okay. Those taking the oath can either swear in the name of God or simply solemnly affirm. The ceremony also undermines the layers which make up India's political power structure and affirms the supremacy of the constitution in our polity, because everything is happening according to the constitution. Now, the oath taken by the president, just for an example, I've put it. Article 60 mentions about the oath taken by the president. It is there in the Schedule 3, the content. I, A, B do swear in the name of God or solemnly affirm. You can say anything out of this. That I will faithfully execute the office of the president or discharge the functions of the president of India, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the constitution and the law, and that I will devote myself to the service and well-being of the people of India. The content of the oath has to be noticed, because UPSC in prelims has asked once the a question on the content of the this oath. Oath by a minister, whether a prime minister or a union minister. I, A, B, do swear in the name of God, solemnly affirm that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India, as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, that I will faithfully and conscientiously discharge my duties as a minister for the Union, and that I will do right to all manner of people in accordance with the Constitution and the law, without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So you could see the difference in the content of the oath taken by a minister and oath taken by the president. The president takes this oath to preserve, protect, and defend the constitution and the law of the country. Then oath of secrecy also by a minister, because there are oath of office. This was the oath of office. This is the oath of secrecy. I, AB, do swear in the name of God, solemnly affirm that I will not be directly or indirectly communicate or reveal any person or persons any matter which shall be brought under my consideration or shall become known to me as a minister of the Union, except as may be required for the due discharge of my duties, such as minister. So secrecy is very important at that high office, and it is not like whatever discussions you are having, you reveal it everywhere. That can be a compromise to the national integrity, national security, territorial sovereignty of the country. So that is why this oath of secrecy is also there. Are variations allowed in the oath? Actually, as per Article 164, or as per those articles which mention about the oaths for the ministers, like 74 and all, text of the oath has to be read out exactly as it is. Section 3 of the article states, before a minister enters upon his office, the governor shall administer to him the oaths of office and of secrecy according to the forms set out for the purpose in the third schedule. This is basically for the chief minister and the ministers in state. But yes, if I add governor slash president, so it will become for the union ministers as well. So it has to be done as per section T. But yes, certain variations, like in the name of Allah, somebody has said, an MLA in Karnataka said, in the name of Buddha, an MLA in Karnataka said. Then in Maharashtra, when in 2000, I would say 19 or 20, a new government was formed. So Eknath Shinde, the current chief minister, he took the name of Balasaheb Thackeray. And Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray took the name of his father and Shivaji Maharaj. So these kind of variations are allowed, but the content which is following after that, that has to be same. So that kind of variations are allowed, but largely the content has to be same. The Constituent Assembly discussions are not, because Schedule 3 was inserted by the Constituent Assembly only when our constitution was being made. At that time, a very interesting, I would say, debate happened. Now, the words of the oaths were arrived at after considerable discussions in the Constituent Assembly. One of the sharpest debates about whether office bearers of a secular state, because India was a secular country, should swear in the name of God or not. Because if you're swearing in the name of God, you're bringing religion into state affairs. It was seen like this, but it was kept. Now, even after it was agreed upon that God could be part of the oath, there were disagreements on whether in the name of God should come before or after solemnly affirm. Because see, if we see the oaths, I, A, B do swear in the name of God slash solemnly affirm. So this was the question, whether solemnly affirm should come earlier or before swear in the name of God, or it should come after. So that was also, a matter of discussion. And Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said that grammar should not stand in the way of God. So we are keeping in the name of God earlier as compared to the solemnly affirm. So this was the debate in Constituent Assembly. Now we are here in the MCQs. These MCQs, first, consider the statements and mark the correct one. Bangladesh is India's top export destination in South Asia in 2023-24. Many anti-India separatist groups have taken shelter in Bangladesh. Which among these are correct? India Out campaign was run in which country? Very simple question. Third, consider the following statements and mark the correct one. India and Seychelles share a strategic partnership. India recently constructed an airstrip in Agalega, which lies in the Seychelles jurisdiction. Which among this is correct? Fourth question is, who administers the oath to the President of India? The outgoing president, the vice president, the chief justice of India, or none of the above? And the last question, which schedule of the Constitution mentions the oath of office and oath of secrecy by various dignitaries? First, second, third, fourth. Very simple question. I would expect answers, correct answers from you guys today in the comment section. And with this, we've come to an end of today's session. I will be seeing you tomorrow now with more such informative news pieces. Till then, you guys very well know what to do. Keep studying, keep reading, keep writing, and most importantly, keep revising. Keep watching the videos as well. Namaste. Jai.